I'm Harry Cole, The Sun's political editor. We have a major exclusive. For the first time, Britain has removed a failed asylum seeker to Rwanda. The first flight happened on Monday night. The unnamed migrant in question arrived in Kigali on Tuesday and is settling into their new life in Rwanda. Now, this gentleman was separate from the forced deportation scheme that the government have been wrangling over for months, even years, through the courts. Ministers want to use as a deterrent to small boat crossers in the Channel the idea that if you land here illegally, you will be forced to move to Rwanda. At the same time as this policy, they have been setting up a side scheme which will see failed asylum seekers, people who have already been through the process in the United Kingdom and been told they have no right to live here, can also move to Rwanda. Now, they will be paid, their flights will be looked after by the British taxpayer, and they will be given an incentive to remove to Rwanda. But ministers say that's cheaper and more efficient than keeping them here. Now, 19,000 different people were removed under similar schemes to their country of origin in the last few years. However, this is the first time in British history that the government has removed someone from Britain to a third country. And that's going to have huge and significant repercussions for the legality and the operational success of the Rwanda scheme. Obviously, Rwanda has become a totemic policy for the government. It's the centre of their migration deterrent policies at the same time. But commentators, lawyers, opposition MPs, even government's own MPs have said the scheme couldn't happen. There was once upon a time, ministers, including Rishi Sunak, were trying to kill the scheme, saying it wouldn't be value for money. So this is a really important moment for the government, and it couldn't have come at a better time, really, for Rishi Sunak on the eve of the May local elections, when he's possibly facing rebellion from his right wing of his party. To show that this policy can work in action is a significant moment by anyone's book. This will be a significant thumbs up, I think, from ministers saying, look, we can do this. Last time they tried to deport someone to Rwanda, a flight was grounded on the tarmac by the Strasbourg court. An emergency injunction was granted by the ECHR that stopped the flights going. This tonight proves that it can be done, in theory and in principle. So for anyone who is saying now that, forced flights for deportation shouldn't go ahead or can't go ahead, well, whether they shouldn't go ahead is a matter of opinion. Whether they can't go ahead now becomes a matter of fact. This is a boost for the Prime Minister by anyone's book. Rishi Sunak's had his back on the wall for months. He managed to get the Safety of Rwanda Bill through Parliament and stamped by the King last week. The House of Lords fought tooth and nail after the Court of Appeal said that Rwanda wasn't a safe country, Britain shouldn't be dealing with it. They changed the law to overrule the courts, and this is the first time now that that law is being put into action. So the Prime Minister has been hoping that he can take some momentum from our discovery tonight and see whether he can quell his backbench Tory MPs who have been very sceptical that the Rwanda scheme would work in practice, and maybe move on to having a conversation about expanding it rapidly before the general election.